What is going on, New York Giants fans? How you living? Hit Squad back at it with another video. Today we had Joe Schoen's first official press conference, and there's a lot to take away from this, right? And I first want to say I didn't want to overreact. I didn't want to overhype, the situation. I really want to believe in what I almost said Joe Judge. Wow. What Joe Schoen and John Mara are trying to do. I really want to see how things play out. I'm going to give you guys my official thoughts on this press conference. Before I do, join the Hit Squad, hit the subscribe button, follow us on Twitter, intercept the like button. I appreciate everyone watching this video. So let's look at the first clip and we'll come back and give our thoughts.
And I promise you that I will do everything in my power to build a team that will make you proud on the field and off the field. We will look at every avenue to upgrade the roster, add depth, competition, and bring the right type of people into the organization. We're currently in the process of our head coaching search. The relationship between myself and the next head coach will be integral. We're aligned in our plan and vision in how to build the organization and the franchise and build a winning team. We will build a strong foundation which will allow us to sustain success over time.
Now, off rip sounds a little familiar, right? Now, I know some Giants fans, especially in that Giants chat, were trying to say that this was Joe Judge 2.0. I didn't necessarily see it that way. I thought that he made a lot of great points. Personally, I think that we do have to create a foundation that's strong and can sustain success. I think that given that he is given the resources to build a team that he believes could sustain success, he's going to need to be assured by ownership, which he did state that he was assured by ownership in his press conference. Now, what I do like about Joe Schoen is his willingness to want to build through the draft and develop these players and extend these players. That's something, Giants fans, that we have not done in quite some time with any of these head coaches that we have brought in since Tom Coughlin has been released. So in my honest opinion, I really like what I hear here by Joe Schoen. I agree with him 100%, but let's get into the next one.
Record. I think you got to be able to develop players. We have 11 draft picks. It's going to be important that some of those young players may have to, be major contributors for us in 2022. So the willingness to play young players. I think intelligence is important. I think being progressive in your approach to coaching, whether it's with analytics, when to go, when not to go, when to punt. I think you be open to all that stuff. You got to be open to sports performance, strength and conditioning. You got to listen to the experts in their fields. And those are, some of the major qualities that I'm looking for, as we move forward. But no, I believe in it. Any tool that can help us win games or give us a competitive advantage, we're going to continue to push the envelope and find out what those are. So to me, if it's going to help us in the draft process, with evaluations, or the free agency process with evaluations, or contract value, who do these players compare to? If it's going to help us with our practice schedule to keep guys healthy, keep guys on the field, if guys are running too much or working too hard or there's signs, you have to be open-minded to the information. It's a piece of the puzzle. It's not going to drive the entire process, but it's another tool that we need to use in order to, get whatever competitive advantage we can and make the best decisions we can for the New York Giants.
Now this, I couldn't have said it better for myself. I really couldn't have, and I love what I'm hearing by Joe Schoen. We do have to develop these players that are coming in. We do have to trust analytics. Our previous general manager mocked analytics, and within his last year, maybe 2 years, was making jokes about having computer guys finally. But with how the NFL is going, analytics are very important. I don't care what anyone says. Analytics are very important. The best teams in the league that sustain success and are constantly in the playoffs go by analytics. And you look at the teams that don't necessarily go by analytics, and you look at where they're at. Jacksonville's in that category. Chicago's kind of in that category where they do go by analytics, but it's not really a strong suit over there in Chicago. I mean, come on. So for me personally, I think it's very refreshing to have a general manager that believes in analytics, when to go for it, when not to go for it, that wants to develop their players and retain the players that we draft. So to me, this is really huge. I'm loving so far what I hear by Joe Schoen. Join the Hit Squad. I just wanted to throw that out there, man. Join the Hit Squad. Let's get into the next clip.
The job, there were calls made to certain candidates to reach out and make sure people interview. Obviously, it's a process, but do you have full autonomy ultimately to make the hire?
Yeah, it's a good question too. Ultimately, it's going to be a collaborative effort between John, Steve, myself. We're going to come together. We're going to talk about the candidates. If we're different in certain areas, we'll continue to do our research. We'll continue to make our calls. But ultimately, it's going to be a collaborative effort between ownership and myself.
Now in this clip, he spoke about, everything being a collaborative effort, especially when you look at the head coaching search. And honestly, I think that we all should have expected that. Now he was assured by ownership that he would be given the resources to build a team that he believes could sustain success. Now what I do like about Joe Schoen is that, and you will hear this in other clips in this video as well, that he's not a big tear it down and rebuild kind of a guy. He believes that you can build through the draft, you can compete today and build for tomorrow, which I know some Giants fans may be a little wary about that. Dave Gettleman tried doing that. Granted, he definitely approached it wrong. I think that Joe Schoen may approach it a little bit better, but I think that we got to give this guy a shot. I really do think that we got to give this guy a shot. I mean, while Brian Daboll is the favorite to land the head coaching search, I don't think that we can fully pencil him in yet, as he does have ties to Miami. So, Flores is an option. He does have ties to Dan Quinn. Now, one thing I will say is that Kevin Abrams will be controlling the cap. Him and Kevin Abrams will be working it. So expect a lot of cuts going forward, Giants fans. We're going to be in cap hell, but expect a lot of cuts going forward. Let's get into the next clip.
Field together, I think there's some pieces. You watch that New Orleans game. That's a game I reflected upon where, some of their players made good plays down the stretch. So, I do think there are pieces in place. Again, I think with you add, a young foundation through the draft. Again, I want to see progress. Obviously, there's some positions that are a little bit more devoid of talent than others. So again, we're going to look to add talent across the board, and again, just to see progress and put a competitive, team on the field next year is very important.
Now, this was my favorite clip. And I think that, and tell me if I'm reading this a little too deep, Giants fans, but I really do think that this guy believes in Daniel Jones. I really do think that when you look at the roster, the defense is solid. There are some things we have to address on the defensive side, but that knoll of talent that he is speaking of, let's be real, it's the offensive line. It is the offensive line. I think that Joe Schoen comes in, builds the foundation for this team, builds the offensive line, builds the trenches, and gives Daniel Jones a shot. I don't see us trading for a Watson, a Wilson, obviously an Aaron Rodgers. I don't see that happening. I don't think that aligns with this guy's philosophy. And I think he's 100% right. I really do. I think that, you need to build the foundation for this team. You could use Daniel Jones as a bridge gap quarterback, bring in a competitive backup QB such as Mitchell Trubisky. If we bring in Brian Daboll, look out for that guy. You could look at Marcus Mariota, who would fit easily in whatever scheme really you're trying to do. I mean, Marcus Mariota, there's a lot of things to like about him, but I think that he's 100% right. I really like his approach. I like what I'm hearing from Joe Schoen, honestly. Like I said, I didn't want to get too overhyped. I didn't want to, read too deep into this press conference. But from what I'm getting, I mean, it looks like he really wants to build something that can sustain success. He really wants to build a strong foundation. He wants to develop these players, really build through the draft, extend these players. And not really dive too big into free agency, which as Giants fans, I mean, we know we kind of do that often, which it hasn't really paid off for us outside of 2016. So for me personally, I can't complain with what I heard today. I really can't. I'm on the Joe Schoen train. I am excited to see who we hire as head coach. That'll probably be the next video that we do. Actually, no, tomorrow we will do a video with my guest, Carlos LaFlame. We're going to be talking about Sean Payton and what he meant to this team, as well as to the Saints. Carlos LaFlame is a diehard Saints fan, so stay tuned for that. But that's all I have for you guys. Again, I'm really excited to see what Joe Schoen does. I agree with a lot of the things that he said in his press conference. Again, people are going to overreact. People are going to want this guy gone before he even makes his first move. And that's just how it is. You can't make everyone happy. Me personally, I am very pumped to have him as our general manager. I'm pumped to see what we do in the offseason. It's going to be a lot of fun. Join the Hit Squad. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit Squad out.
This has been a Big Blue Crew production.